to be more loving in my heart.
Well, good morning again, everyone. Thank you, everyone. The contributions to this service, as usual, are stunning and deepening and beautifying our world, our inner world, and our outer world in each moment. So I want to take one moment with you and really consider what it is that Harmony just read to us, what it is that June just gave to us, what it is that Marty spoke to us, what it is that we've been giving ourselves. What I noticed is how much it actually takes to move myself, and maybe you, from a sense of being the center of the universe to a sense of being centered in the universe. One of my teachers used to admonish us, can you see, can you go from ego to let go? Can you go from being the center to being centered? So the question is with all of us, the reading perfectly calls it out. We find this place. How do we sort? How do we live our lives? How do we ease the tension in our hearts? How do we do all this? I mean, every single day, the onslaught of reasons and power and idiocy, right, that we can think goes on around us. And then even deeper than that, the pain that's being inflicted, the danger that people are living in, the darkness. Our world right now, we're facing some very, very big experience of darkness. And yet, how will we be? I want to be more loving in my heart. When I first heard this reading from Howard Thurman, my heart leapt into the room. I was at Agape, and it was as if the room was shaking. I could feel the yearning. It was about 1998. And I was sure I could do it. I was sure with these words behind me that Howard Thurman's passion in me, I could do. And so I set out to do that. I set out to do it every day. And I still set out to do it every day. And every day I'm thwarted. Every day I thwart myself, perhaps we should say. Do you? Every day. Not a second after I set my intention will something come in and I can be taken off track. What do we do about this? What do we do about this? How do we find our way when our own internal system seems to rev us up into the tension that causes us to be in an argument with life about survival instead of in the harmony of life with love? Love is everywhere, all around us, all the time. Love is the grandest expression, which also includes peace and joy, passion and care. This morning, since we entered here, we have had singing. We started with a prayer, then we had singing, then we had another prayer, then we had words, then we had a meditation, then we had more singing. And we feel ourselves rising into this space, in this loving space. We've already accomplished about 7 or 8 spiritual practices today alone. And yet, is there anywhere inside us that we still find ourselves to be a little torn, a little holding back, even after this sweet admonition of all of our foibles, all of the ways that the sharp barb and the boundary holding and the demand to be taken seriously and respected comes forward from our ego, can we in fact choose to step into the flow of love? I invite you to just consider that right behind you, closer than you can even imagine, we're going to separate it for a second just to play, is this rush of love. It's the rush of love that surrounds you. It's the rush of love that gives you into the world. You already have it. You already possess it in your awareness, in your meditation, in your song. Love needs love today. We are calling all of us to bring it forward, right? Into this room, into this life, into this world, into it with joy and passion. Love needs you to bring. You are the face, the fingers, the hands, the hearts of the human expression of love. It is already within you. So from this fullness, right, from this abundant, loving, joyful place, flood the world with it. There is nothing else you have to do, nothing else you have to do. So Gandhi is really my hero. I grew up, as you know, in some pretty war-torn, dangerous places. And when I first heard the words of Gandhi, I knew I was home. My life is my message. My life is my message. So I break my message all day long. To the people I love the most, I give a sidelong glance or a glare when something goes wrong, or put my hands on my hips and I look seriously, what are you thinking? These are the people I love the most, who touch my heart the deepest. And yet I can still feel the rising of separation. I hope you recognize it too, because it's human, and we are human and divine, and we're trying, we're efforting, we're blessing the world by bringing the love in first, bringing the love in, bringing our awareness in to the moment when we're ready to fight, right? Fight, flight, freeze, faint, please faint. Do whatever it takes to get me out of this moment where my body and my mind are flooded with adrenaline. And I'm telling you, I'm right. Right? So Gandhi, my life is my message. This season for nonviolence is the most powerful way you can live in this world right now. We are in a tremendously painful situation, not just in the Middle East, but certainly in the Middle East, with something going on that I thought I would never see in my lifetime. As bad as it got when I was growing up there, this is just hard to believe. On every side, in every person's shoes, in every family's home, in every home, there is heartbreak, there is loss. In our hearts today, we also must hold this. We must be able to hold it, and we must pour love forth into the world. The love does the work. You bring the love. You bring it with your hands, your feet, your mouth, your ears, your eyes, your heart, your song, your dance. You bring the love that you are. Individually, your talents, your proclivities, your everything that you do, whatever you're committed to, bring it with love. In Gandhi's words, or at least in the earliest translations of these words, they used to say, hate the crime, not the criminal. So let's soften that a little bit. Let's say, let's hold people responsible for what they're doing. And let's not cast them out of love. Now, I'm sure Gandhi meant that because that's who he is. But when we translate it to English, we got all sorts of other nonsense in there. I spent a day with Byron Katie one time. And her whole thing is love what is, love what's here, love everyone. And how do we live in a world where that's true? Well, love comes from the acceptance of what's happening right now. Love comes from the knowing that every human being has the same proclivities as each other, given the same circumstances, the same history, the same life, the same parents, the same lineage, the same culture. We all behave in the same manner. Now, you won't behave in the same manner as someone else because you didn't have their lineage. So how is it? How is it that we are going to live in a world like this? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we protect ourselves? We become more and more and more and more vulnerable to the loving. We become more and more and more powerful in the loving. And we are able to speak with loving the boundaries that we must speak. We may have to hold some people separate from society to keep the innocent safe. But we must also take care of them. We must help them find their way home to their loving. There is not a soul that is born without the inner life. And so we do prison work, and we do walk the streets, and we do bless the homeless, and we do bless ourselves, and we do love each other, and we do our best. And when people cross our boundaries, we must become vulnerable enough to tell them, this is not okay. And it's hard. And Gandhi reminds us, do it with love. Gandhi removed an entire kingdom from his country with love. It's not that he didn't make mistakes along the way, he did. His life was an experiment. Your life is an experiment every single day. That's what Howard Thurman's talking about. He's like, every day I tell myself, I'm this great and glorious love. And then every day I can't make myself not be snarky. I can't make myself not honk my horn and yell at the person in the next car. So I keep working on the divine experiment of how do I move myself out of ego and let go into God. How do I remember? Well, how do I remember? Practice. Practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? How do you get to love? Practice, 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 practice. Singing is practice. Joyful playing is practice. Dancing is practice. Passion is practice. Everything is practice as you live in love. So when you meditate, bring it with you when you come back. You know, Reverend Michael Beckwith, one time when we were used to have to stand in these really long lines to get into agape meditation. And people literally would like elbow each other in the line to get ahead in the meditation, or they'd come at the last minute and do that like zip in thing. And people would go into the sanctuary like enraged. And one time he walked out and saw this, and he just burst out laughing. And he talked about it. He just said, like, look at us. We're here early. We're so devoted to our practice. We're here at, it was ridiculous, like 7:30 in the morning, standing in line. And while we are waiting for meditation, we're beating each other up to get the best seat or whatever we're trying to do that feels like survival to us. How do we embody these teachings? That is what the season for nonviolence is about. We live in a world where we're begging for a ceasefire. How do we live the ceasefire in our own life? Who did you attack already this morning? And was it you? Was it you? Or have you not today? Have you not attacked yourself today? For just a little thing, maybe you were late. Take a moment, take a moment. Forgiveness unlocks our holiness. Forgiveness unlocks our loving. Once we're safe, once we've taken the crime and said, this is not okay. Once we've taken the transgression, one of my favorite words for this is misbehavior. It's not quite so harsh. Once we've taken that and we've given it back to love, even if we have to give the person a special place to be, or we have to leave them out of our lives because that's healthier for us, that's okay. But we don't have to kick them out of our hearts. And perhaps we might even consider praying harder for ourselves and for them, that this may be healed in love. When we want to change the world, when we have that feeling within us that grips us, that says, this world is a nightmare, we must take that attention and draw it in and allow ourselves to bring into ourselves and into the world again this great love. Preparation for your day in this world at this time is not optional. I have adopted a 5-time-a-day interruption of my day, like the prayers of the Muslim faith. I call myself to prayer 5 times a day. It is not enough some days. Forgiveness for all the thoughts I've already had. What does forgiveness mean? But just letting go of hurting myself or another with anger and without love. One of my meditation teachers takes a long time. He has taught me to take time to come out of meditation because he wants us to bring that inner world to our outer world so that it infuses our life, so that we're one consciousness with whatever we're doing. So today we're talking about practice, right? We need to learn how to gently move into the spaciousness of the universe that floods us with this powerful knowing, and learn to sustain it. Learn to sustain it. So that we ourselves are just filled with the holy light. We are in love. We are permeated by love. We are the peace and the understanding. We are the kindness and the grace. There is nothing else we need to do. We are guided in absolutely everything, our hands, our feet, our bodies, our minds, as we release into centered in the universe, centered into the grand and glorious power of love. There is nothing that you can do that's more powerful than that. We come together once a week here to remember and to inspire and to sing and dance and hug each other and fill that up. But once a week is not enough for this world. We all know the saying, be in this world, but not of this world. Be of heaven. Heaven, by heaven, I mean released from any damnation that you have created to yourself or anyone else. Released and let go of anything unlike love. Feel it permeating you. Feel yourself saying, welcome to love. I forgive myself, and I forgive the entire world and everything in this universe, anything that is participating outside of the full awareness of love right now. I forgive myself for my participation in that. and I let it go. That's all it is. I let it go, and I feel the divine rush of love pour through me. Now, my world is a different place. Now, the world that I am creating is now created in the likeness and the glory and the love of that which we call infinite intelligence, infinite mind, infinite creativity. All situations are solved. Our mind is guided through this. You decide for yourself, where do you carry your love? Where does the action come through you? Where does the hug reach out? Where does the hug reach in? Fill yourself up and take it out. Be this massive force of love that you are, and do not kid yourself. You are it. And I have been accused of being fluffy. And I just want you to know there is nothing fluffy about this. So if you take this on this season for nonviolence, you can go and get an email into your mailbox every single morning. Beautiful picture, a message, and a practice. Every single morning for 64 days. Who do you think you might be at the end of that kind of commitment to yourself? You don't like what's going on in the world. If you don't like what's going on in the world, you be the difference in this world. I'll be the difference in the world. Holding hands together, we are the difference in this world. It starts with us. That is what the example of Gandhi and Martin Luther King has taught us. Life is eternal, and we are on the path of experimental living. If you live the next 64 days in passionate practice with love and peace, let's see who we'll all be on April 4th. I bless each and every one of you. This music that's moving through Dale this morning, the way that this energy is flowing and has been flowing in this congregation, the visioning that we did last week, the work that Supriya and Harold did with us, the singing that has happened, all of our musicians and everything they're bringing, this is their devotion to love. And they are giving this to you in wholehearted, open-hearted love, as I am and as we all are. See more deeply. You looked into someone else's eyes. See more deeply into the soul of every being. And as religious scientists, you will know that what we do is we hold the vision and not look at the circumstances. So no matter what the behavior is in front of you, as long as you are safe, see the vision of the holiness of you and the holiness of the other. In one instant, you will change your life. We will change the world together. We sing together, we talk together, we pray together. We become the peace. We carry that into the action in our lives. We bless this world in peace. And from the words of Ernest Holmes, I say this to you. It's on the front of your programs. Carry it with us every day. We must believe that love is God, infinite, eternal, and ever present. We cannot escape love. We exist in love, and we are one with it. We live by it, through it, and in it. It motivates our entire thought process, plan, and action. Everything we see with the eyes of love, everything we hear with the ears of love. We see God, infinite intelligence, powerful, pure creativity. We see it wherever we go. We find it. See it first. See it first. Live it first. Feel it first. Give it from you to the world. And so it is. Thank you. I love you. God bless you.